OT. I like Claude Giroux and I like Seth Jarvis. Those are my guys.
And can Brady repeat what his brother Matthew did in this building in overtime? Here we go. Game 2 overtime underway. Martin up with it. Hands it off. Ehlers shot stopped by Allmark. Dylan Cousins off the glass, off the hand of Keandre Miller and into the Carolina bench.
Well, there's only been one other game that's gone farther than the 3 periods, and that was the Montreal-Tampa game, and it was quite early in the overtime. Slavkovsky buried that one. Montreal took the 1-0 lead, and this one here with these two teams could have the makings of something that goes quite lengthy. They're pretty stingy, although we've shown a ton of opportunities from the slot areas of both these teams.
Sanderson lifts it around the boards. It's picked up by Apollo. He'll bank it out. Giroux trying to catch up to it. Martinook is there. He'll backhand it ahead for Ehlers. Nikolai Ehlers had a look to see who was coming. He'll curl back, wait for some help. Dumps it down to Stahl. Stahl around the net out front. Miller with a chance. Shot was blocked, and it's cleared away by Gregg. Stahl back in his own end to get it. Jordan Stahl leaves it for Chatfield, and Jalen Chatfield will wait as Tkachuk watches from the side of Frederik Andersen. Svechnikov trying to tip it up for Aho. Was broken up, though, by Shabbat. Stützle will get it in. Chatfield after it. Laid it around for Slavin. Slavin long pass ahead. Connects with Jarvis. Jarvis drops it for Aho. Aho played it back, and he turned it over to Stützle. Tim Stützle can't get up ice, so as he had a stick check by Aho, and now he'll dump the puck in deep. Batherson goes after, and he breaks the stick of Jarvis. Here's Svechnikov. Long stretch pass for Aho. Took it off the back of his foot. Pinto has got it. Shane Pinto hands it off for Warren Foegele. He'll deflect it in. Amadio goes after it. Foegele trying to get to it on the forecheck. Right in front. Pinto with a chance goes wide. Here's Montemalo. Montemalo down to Foegele. Trying to get that towards the net. Foegele bumped by Svechnikov. Pinto trying to play it with Slavin on top of him. Shane Pinto got it back to the point. Spencer drive. Oh no, that hit Foegele, and he's going to go to the bench. Caught him high. Sanderson up with it. Sanderson will backhand it down to the corner. Carolina will clear it. Sanderson will dump it back in. Eller in on the forecheck trying to get to it. Carolina cleared it out. Blake stretching for it. Poked it free. Here comes Taylor Hall with a shot. It's deflected and goes out of play.
Well, Travis Green has swapped Nick Cousins for Warren Foegele up on that third line, and here he comes around to get in front of the net, and then he realizes it's a high, hard one coming at him and hits him in the back of the shoulder. And he saw it coming, which is a good thing, and got himself out of the way. That's going to leave a mark. It will be one ice bag for sure. I'm sure there'll be others. But he has, I think that's a good decision to move him up on that line. He has been really good for the Sens since being acquired by the Kings.
Bounced the wrong way for him there. The puck gets cleared down the ice. Keandre Miller lays it around, and into the forecheck comes Gregg. He'll come up with a puck away from Nikishin. Shabbat down low for Dylan Cousins. Lets it go. Ehlers trying to swipe it out. Walker is on it. Walker up the center for Stahl. Dropped it back. Martinook with a shot right on, and Allmark will squeeze it.
When you aggressively pinch like both these teams do, you rely on your third man. The third man in this particular one is Ridley Gregg. So now if you're attacking, you want to attack the forward side because he's not a defenseman. He's just playing the position of one at this juncture as he backs in, and they elect to go back across the grain to Martinook. And I think looking at some of the saves we showed you in that package for Allmark, that was fairly a simple one to make for him.
Lars Eller will take the draw against Stankoven. Eller won it. It's kicked around in front. Eller gets it back. He's been great in the faceoff dot in the first 2 games of this series for Ottawa. Amadio will play it across for Spence. Up to Pinto. Got a piece of it to tip it in. Anderson will hand it off for Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere lays it over to Keishan. He'll dump it in. Allmark out of the net. Allmark played it to Spence around the boards. Amadio is on it. Amadio to to center for Vogel. Hands it off to Pinto. Pinto checks up. Tangled up by Nikishin. Stankoven knocks it free to center. Hall will hand it off for Gostisbehere. Back to Hall. Taylor Hall played in front. Broken up by Mario. Maybe a break here for Ottawa. Kachuk in over the line. Shabbat going to the net. Kachuk lost his footing. Can't make a play with it. Lincoln center. Gets up and in. Here comes Stutza shooting, and it's high over the goal. Thompson at the point. Holds it in. Played it across for Shabbat. Thomas Shabbat. Down to Lassie Thompson. Trying to get it for Batherson. Stutza to Batherson. Batherson centered. Kachuk. Oh, what a save by Anderson. Kachuk had the game winner there. Shabbat got it across. Another chance for Kachuk. Can't get the shot. And Carolina gets it to center as Hall will dump it in.
What a shift for the captain, and he's mad at himself, but what an opportunity. You got to tip your hat to Freddie Anderson.
Warren Foegele brings it back into the Carolina zone. Snaps a shot towards the net, deflected. It'll go to the net. Anderson covers it up, and he'll hold on.
Well, Kachuk getting down low and then going to the net. Blake kind of lets him go, and that almost cost him as he is sitting right there. And with a push to the net, Anderson came across and got it. And then the one that I think really bothers him is the one-timer through the seam that came right after. He kind of gripped his stick a little too tight, and when the puck hit his stick, it just blew off it, right? You know, if he settles that thing down, or he's got another really good crack at walking in on his forehand.
Ridley Craig will take the face-off against Jordan Stahl.
Reaction from the family.
Yeah. Says it all. Dylan Cousins on the boards. Will play it around behind the net. Ehlers had it hawk over his stick. He doesn't get to it. Spence got it down for Dylan Cousins. Cousins trying to win the battle with Miller. Cousins now has to try and go after Ehlers, but Ehlers will take it away and dump it in. Sanderson after the puck behind his own net. Bumped by Marknook. Stoll trying to play. Here comes Dylan Cousins. He's run over, but he got the puck to Sanderson. And Sanderson will get it up to center where it's tipped in by Giroux. Frederick Anderson leaves it behind his own net. Miller has a look up ice. Watch by Zetterlund. Hands it off for Walker. Robinson will tip it in. Hallmark around the glass. Knocked down by Robinson. And he fires it through the front of the crease. Gostisbehere down back of the net. That one will skip around the boards. Nikishin trying to hold it in. It'll bounce at the point. It's kept in by Jankowski. That Paulo goes up the wing. That's broken up and will come back to Allmark here, and he's forced to cover it up as Eller put it back to his own netminder.
Well, I think Eller tried to squeeze one out on the other side, and he didn't get it out. And this time he's at a disadvantage again, and he doesn't want a weak backhand up the board, so he lays it back towards the net there. Maybe a defenseman could really pick it up and get out the other side of the net, but I think Allmark does the right thing. Just kill it right there. We've been good in the face-off circles, although Eller's been your best guy at almost 70%, but he's a little tuckered out right now. And Pinto will take this one.
And he'll line up against Sebastian Aho. Pinto tied him up. Good win. Sanderson around the boards. Kept in by Nikishin, then Vogel knocks it out of the air. Here comes Amadio with it. Amadio will backhand it in. Gostisbehere goes up the boards. Svechnikov chopped it out. Aho down the wing. Aho trying to get to the net, and his shot goes high over the goal. Did it catch the netting? They thought maybe it did. Play continues. Sanderson trying to poke it back behind the net. Svechnikov bumps into Sanderson. Sanderson up the wing and out as Vogel will clear it. Nikishin backs up. Now plays it over to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere will dump it in. Allmark got a piece of it back to the net. Paulo will play it around. Shabbat in the corner. Takes the bump. Got it out at center. Tim Stützle will lift it in. Slavin goes after the puck. In comes Batherson and runs into Slavin. Vogel trying to hold it in at the line, but it's cleared out. Shabbat up for Kachuk off his stick. Now Stützle tries to fight his way and played it through his legs. Wanted to get it to Kachuk. Batherson after it. Tangled up with Stankoven. Up ice comes Taylor Hall. Trying to drop the Blake. Picked off by Stutzla. Stutzla trying to work his way back into Carolina end, and he'll get the puck back to the goal. Anderson will play it into the open corner. Picked up though by Ottawa. Here's Stutzla trying to play it in front. He got knocked over. Giroux intercepts. Gilbert in for the point. Stahl will clear it out. And Spence will take it. Long pass ahead for Giroux. He'll deflect it in and go after it. Though Giroux leaves it back to the net. Dylan Cousins on it. To the point. Gilbert shot. That one floats wide. Spence after it. Trying to center in front. Chatfield can't clear it. Slavin after it in the corner. He'll leave it for Ehlers. Blake goes after the puck. Gilbert right after Blake. He'll turn. Trying to find an open lane, and he'll lift it out. Gilbert will wait with it. Goes up the middle. Tipped in by Pinto. Anderson reaching for it. He'll swipe it around to Slavin. Slavin off for Chatfield. Out to center. That got blocked by Sanderson. Ehlers stops to protect the puck and give it back to Slavin. Now return pass for Ehlers. Onto the wing. Robinson deflects it in. Jankowski take it into the corner. Thompson right on him. Pinto trying to play it. He's pinned back in the net. Jankowski off for Carrier. Carrier has Sanderson to contend with. Carrier now takes it to the other side. Shot to the net. Allmark with a pad save. Gostisbehere threw it in. Here's Robinson now. Held up by Thompson. Sanderson off the board. Samadio can't get it by Nikishin, who pitches in. Carolina trying to hold it in deep. Amadio looks to knock it loose. Thompson has got it. And Thompson will lift it high in the air and skip it back to the Carolina blue line. Gostisbehere feeds it up ahead. Down the wing comes Aho. He'll stop in the corner. Aho takes the bump and flying in with Chabot. He'll clear it back out. Oh, and a big hit. Walker knocked over. That comes Giroux. Tees it up, and it ends up out of play.
What a great shift by Carolina's fourth line. I mean, they got close. As we have a look at this one here, Aho comes down and tries to go high on the short side and didn't miss it by very much. But boy, oh boy, a couple of close calls as that fourth line for Carolina was all over the Ottawa Senators. And then right at the end, you run into your guy on one of those high, long flip plays, and it lands on the stick of Giroux. Great recovery to get over and get the stick down in front of Giroux and knock that puck out of harm's way.
Ehlers trying to set up where he wants to be for this face-off as Claude Giroux will square off against Jordan Stahl. Scramble off the draw. Giroux tried to get his foot on it and hopped away from Chabot. Martinook chases it down. Taken to the boards by Spence. Martinook to Stahl back of the goal. Stahl slides it up the line. Walker's shot off the leg in front. Ridley Craig has got it. Craig tries to spring Dylan Cousins. Cleared away by Walker. Martinook will hand it off. Here's Ehlers to Martinook. Martinook shooting, and that one missed. Dylan Cousins trying to bat it out. It'll bounce free. Chabot took a hack. Sebastian Aho up with it. Aho shot to the net, and it's blocked in front by Chabot, and he'll lift it out. That one gets by Miller, and will be an icing call against Ottawa.
Well, when he reached out to catch it and missed it, I thought, okay, they're going to wave that off, but they did not. I think that's what Travis Green's talking about. This puck was right at Miller, and it looked like he was going to grab it, and he missed it. So the Senators will have to send their guys back to the face-off circle. They'll take their time doing it. Chabot's been out there for a bit. As they're going to check the numbers to see if they've got the right guys on the ice, but that takes more time, so they'll be a little more rested.
Well, we are at the midway point of the overtime period here. And that will be a break because it's going to be the scrape of the ice. And it's the one time you can get away with that. So that's a break for Ottawa on the icing call. Well,
the game started out quite similar to game one, where the Carolina Hurricanes really got on top of Ottawa, and it was a beautiful Taylor Hall play out into the slot to Stankoven, who got his second of the series, and they were on the board and they were on their way, and then eventually it was this beautiful play by the captain, Stahl, through the legs of Shabbat to Aho. All he had to do was direct it in, and then this misadventure there by Aho goes to Sanderson with a great individual play. Batherson gets a good bounce off the skate of Slavin. He buries it. And then another turnover in the neutral zone. Sanderson gets it transition. And then one that Anderson wished he could have back. As that tied this game up. In the third period, nobody could solve the goaltenders. Hallmark has been fantastic. Anderson has a shutout in this series. Been solid in this game as well. Other than that one, that 5 hold'em. And overtime has been kind of what I expected. It's going to be a grind to get to the net. Both these teams are stingy.
The Oilers and Ducks are starting game 1 of their series. You can catch that now on Sportsnet West, as they'll be underway in the first period of game 1. Oilers and Ducks on Sportsnet West. We'll, of course, stay here in Carolina as overtime continues.
Well, you look at Ridley Gregg with Cousins and Tkachuk, and now you got Batherson on that line off this face-off.
So the Senators rest up. Dylan Cousins won the draw. Spence comes up with it. He'll send it around back of the net. Shabbat off the board. Greg got a piece of it, but it's back in the zone and now blown down on an offside.
And they'll be able to get their line change up over the boards. Will come Stützle and Tkachuk. Remember, Tkachuk started on that line, that Cousins line, and Travis Green has moved some players around. He's taken some chess pieces. He moved it around some lines. Probably didn't like the way some things were going. They hadn't scored in a while, and things got going. So now he's like, okay, let's just leave it there. We'll keep massaging it.
Face-off win by Stützle. Shabbat gets it across. Spence off the boards. Tkachuk taken into the boards by Chatfield. Stützle to help out. Here's Tkachuk trying to get it in front. Great chance. Bouncing puck. Shabbat's shot is blocked. And it's carried out by Svechnikov and rolled down the ice. Spence up with it. Laid it over for Shabbat. Up ahead for Tkachuk. He'll knock it in. Anderson forced to play it. Sends it around into the corner. Blake will go back of his own net. Now Chatfield on it. Hands it off for Taylor Hall. Hall gets stopped by Fogle at center. Pinto trying to work his way in. Fogle has got it. Fogle down behind the net. Roll it around. Mountain goes after it. And the puck gets cleared out by the Hurricanes. Down the ice, Sanderson is back. That'll be an icing against Carolina.
And an opportunity for Ottawa here in the face-off circle. Well, they've been really good. And a group of Carolina Hurricanes that have been on the ice for a little bit, trying to take advantage of that. And you look at the playoff-hardened team that the Carolina Hurricanes are, you know. Conference finals 3 times in the last 7 years, and they've done this dance quite a few times. They got a lot of guys with a lot of Stanley Cup playoff experience.
Lars Eller will take the draw against Stankoven. Eller won it cleanly. Back to Sanderson. He'll tee it up. Anderson the save. Eller with a chance. Side of the net. Frederik Anderson kept the pad out and made the stop.
Well, if you're Travis Green, you got your 4th line out on the ice. But Lars Eller is about 70% in the faceoff circle, so you're feeling good about that. What does he do? He snaps it back. It was almost like a pass back to the point. And Sanderson lets this rip, and it just misses on the short side. Good on Eller to beat his centerman Stankoven to the net. Remember, when that puck hits the ice, it's center on center. Win or lose the draw, you do not leave your guy go. Stankoven lets Eller get behind him, and he gets a chance at a rebound off the back wall that Anderson gets his pad on.
Now Tkachuk out against Stahl. Tkachuk won it. Stützle to Sanderson down the boards. He'll go after it. Back to the net. Stahl tangled up with Tkachuk as well. Anderson fell down to the crease. Stahl comes up with it. Here comes Stahl. Cross ice for Walker. And he'll lift it in. Spence is on it. Left it there. Sanderson trying to clear it. Spence gets tangled up. Martin up to the net, and it's gloved by Allmark.
A little scrambly there. I think the reverse back this way is what kind of shocked everybody. As a defenseman, when you're going back to retrieve a puck, you're always better to take it on your forehand, and sometimes the play might be to go backwards, but on your forehand, it's just a little easier to get more mustard on it. As you see Tkachuk go down there, and you know the gas tanks are starting to empty out here a little bit. These are two teams that battle hard, and there's been a lot of physical play in these games, and we're over halfway through the first overtime period, and the guys are starting to feel it.
Eller and Jankowski for the draw, bouncing puck. Paulo trying to get a handle on it. Carrier all over him. Eller has got it. He'll hand it off. Puck played up in center. Here's Ridley Gregg with it. Gregg battles it in along the boards. Robinson will clear it back out. Shabbat gains the red line and fires it in. Nikishin after it. Got a piece of it off his stick. Dylan Cousins trying to knock it down. And it's poked free. Ridley Gregg lifts it loose. Bouncing around in the slot. Gostisbehere will take it back. Gostisbehere into the Ottawa zone. Grabbed by Shabbat. He'll hand it off for Zetterlund in over the line. Zetterlund cutting to the middle. Fanned on it. Can't get the shot. And Carolina clears it. Gilbert had it go over his head. He'll bank it off the boards, and it's blown down at the line. They'll call it on an offside.
There's been a lot of pucks that are bouncing around the slot area as both these teams are trying to put pucks into that area and then fill it with players to see if you can't find a loose puck, win a battle, and slam one home. It might not be the prettiest of goals that goes in, but it's going to certainly be an important one. And one of these times, one of these bouncing pucks is just going to land on the stick of your opponent, and this one's going to be over.
Pinto will square off with Stankoven as Fogle and Blake get all tangled up before the draw. Blake comes up with it, works his way in on the wing, tries to get away from Pinto. Blake in the corner, round back of the net. Hall waiting for it. Taylor Hall hands it off of the line. Miller's shot got through, and Allmark will pounce on it.
Sneaky kind of shots like that, right? Everything's going on in front of you, and it gets back to the point, and a quick release there by Miller. And you'll see as it comes through Amadio, and then all of a sudden you got Sanderson, you got guys that are moving out in the high slot. You see Pence there, and sometimes you just lose sight of it for a split second, right? But Allmark does a nice job of handling it.
Giroux and Aho for the face-off. And Giroux again jumping a little early, then Aho does as well. Now they get the draw, and it comes back to the line. Miller's got it again over to Walker. Walker's shot, and it's gloved with ease by Omar.
I'm not sure what's going on in the face-off circle with Claude Giroux, but he seems to be ahead of everything. Like something that he's seeing either from the linesman or from his opponent. You're always trying to get in there first, right? But it just seems like he's getting it ahead of it all the time, and sometimes way ahead of it. So it's just something he's not timing off the drop of the puck. I mean, he's still doing good in the face-off circle, but he's been thrown out a few times tonight. And of course, every face-off, as we know at this juncture, is so important, getting possession and getting opportunity.
Eller will take this one against Stankoven. And it comes back to Miller. Miller walks the line. Miller in with a shot, and it goes wide. Walker will bat it around the glass, and it catches the netting.
Well, somebody on the inside of the face-off has got to get through to Miller. And I don't know if someone gets in there and blocks it all off, but that draw goes clean back. One of the few ones Eller has lost in this game. And it creates opportunity for Miller, who just kept walking and walking and walking in. And he was in such a good spot by the time he teed it up. There were a lot of bodies in the way.
Aho will come out to square off against Giroux. Aho won it cleanly. Here's a chance, and Walker's shot goes wide. At the line, kept in by the Hurricanes. Miller got along the boards. Svechnikov shooting. Allmark kicked that one out. Sanderson in the corner. Will lift it around back of the net. Got away from Montepallo. Pinto trying to play it. Montepallo up the wing. Down the ice by Giroux. And that's an icing call.
You can lose a face-off, but you don't want to lose them clean like that. We saw Eller win it clean. This is a clean draw to Walker, which doesn't give Pinto. Look at Pinto. He doesn't even get a chance to get out in the lane. He's upset he's getting blocked off. But in overtime, guys, they're not blowing those down for interference. Let me tell you. It would have to be egregious for them to call that.
Giroux against Stahl. And this time the Senators get it out as Amadio cleared it. Miller is there to dump it back in. Sanderson kicks it with his skate. Apollo around the wing. Amadio will hold on the extra second and now bring it out himself. Amadio to center and his stick checked. Stahl jumps after it. Ottawa was on a change. Here's Stahl dropping it off. Martin backhanded towards the net and blocked by Allmark. DeAndre Miller over to Chatfield. Chatfield trying to throw that through, and Amadio got in the way, and Batherson will send it back to the Carolina zone. Slavin off the boards. Now Martinook with it. Martinook had his pass picked off by Tkachuk at center. Brady Tkachuk onto the wing, gets it back to Batherson. Stutzla off the post. Tim Stutzla put it off the post. He had the game winner right there. And now it's Tkachuk that'll bring it back in. Tkachuk throws it on net. Anderson to stop. He jumps on the crease to cover it up.
What a great transition and play by the Ottawa Senators. From the neutral zone, the captain takes it, gets it over to Batherson, back to Tkachuk, and then he knows where Stutzla is. He makes the right move. I mean, this is a beautiful move. He just fails to get it inside the post. Cracks it off the post. What a break for Carolina. Man, oh man, he has got to be some kind of frustrated. He has had opportunity in this game to score a hat trick at least. And what a big goal that would have been for Ottawa with 5:48 to go in overtime number one. And then Tkachuk returns back down the left side, and that puck at the net gave Anderson a bit of trouble as well. He was really tight against his post there.
Ridley Gregg lines up against Aho. Fogle and Miller sneaking in early on the draw. Drop yet. Now they do. It'll go to the corner. Walker waits. Slap pass off the boards. Svechnikov had to settle it down. He's bumped by Thompson. Svechnikov trying to break free. Flips it off the glass. Knocked down by Jarvis. He'll roll it behind the net. Thompson got it loose. Hands it off, and Montpello will clear it out. Or check that. Warren Fogle, excuse me. Here's Ridley Gregg with it at the line. Flips it up ahead. Chance for Cousins. Stopped by Anderson. Ridley Gregg on it. Fogle in front. Trying to get him the puck. Fogle in the corner. Up high. Shabbat waiting. Shooting. Tipped, and that goes wide. Fogle's got it again. Warren Fogle spinning with it. Knocked down. Here's Gregg trying to jam it in on Anderson. He's down. The puck is free. And it's played back to the net as Svechnikov tried to clear with a man on top of him. Aho out to center with it. Played it off for Jarvis. He'll dump it in as Vince goes after it, takes a hit. Senators clear it out. Pinto got it up ice. Now Nick Cousins knocked down the clearing attempt by Nikishin. That'll force Nikishin back in his own zone. Played it ahead for Blake. He'll lift it in. Batted out of the air by Shabbat. Got it to the point. Kept in by Blake. Shabbat in the corner. Trying to win the battle for it. He does, and he got it up for Amadio, knocked it out of the air, and Amadio's got it out of the zone. Quick pass across for Spence, avoids the check, goes back to Amadio, and he'll dump it in.
The thing I like about Amadio's game is when he gets those pucks on the wall, he doesn't panic and throw them away. He will wait off somebody.
Turnover at center. Oh, Batherson nearly broke in alone. He would have had Tkachuk with him. Gilbert up for Tkachuk. He'll play it in. Nikishin goes after it. Tracked down by Stutzla on the check. Batherson holds it in. Down to Tim Stutzla. Stutzla lost the puck. And Carolina's got it back as Nikishin will play it up for Blake. He'll roll it down into the Senator zone. And Anderson has got it. Changes for both teams. Dylan Cousins deflects it in. Chatfield on it. Chatfield round behind the net. Slavin out to center off the skate of Ehlers. Lassie Thompson tried to play it away from Stahl, but Stahl took it into the corner, then gave it up to Dylan Cousins. Ehlers trying to knock it down. Comes back to the Hurricanes line. Here's Stahl. Stahl in front to Martinook. He's hooked. Penalty coming up. Chatfield at the line has got it. Chatfield to Martinook. Martinook circles Anderson on the bench. Chatfield Chatfield to Martinook. He'll hand it off. Sebastian Aho waiting with it. Aho will play it over. Jankowski on the boards with it. Dumps it off to Chatfield. Chatfield back for Jankowski to Jarvis. Shot. Hallmark save. Rebound scores. Jankowski overtime winner.
The Sens are looking at this and think this might be offside. They're going to keep looking at this. They're going to get a little more time. Kachuk has come over to the penalty box. He's talking to the referee. I don't think anyone had Jankowski on their bingo card, and for obvious reasons, but you're only going to see a penalty if someone takes away a serious scoring chance, and this was a serious scoring chance by Martinook. But now the referee is informing the captain of the Hurricanes, Stahl, that they believe this play might have been offside, and they're going to challenge it. There's the penalty. It is a penalty. There's no doubt about it. And when the extra attacker came on, Ottawa really never got control or even a shot at getting control. And then this shot from Jarvis is going to kick right out to Jankowski. No chance for Allmark, as the Senators, who are already getting a penalty, are going to make sure they have a good look at this one to see if it was onside. I think that's what they're looking for. And the only person I would think would be Martinook as he's entering the zone, because he gets a step on.
Well, Ottawa seems pretty convinced that this is going to come back. So we wait here as Ryan Gibbons and Libor Suchanek are on the headsets and checking the video.
Well, Jankowski is taking the puck, but that doesn't go out of the zone. That's certainly not
must see
offside.
something else.
I'm thinking on the original rush.
Original entry.
Because it happened so long ago, right? The original rush, I believe, is probably more what they're looking at. Everything there looked good to me. I can't see it being that. But when Stahl carried the puck over the line and Martinook was going to the net right, this is the one I think is the play they're watching right there. And where's that back foot? Oh, boy. Oh, this is going to be close.
Yeah. That's the reason Ottawa has not left the bench.
His back heel looks like it still might be on the blue line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks like it from what I'm watching. And the play is, it wasn't offside, so now they're going to have to be absolutely sure. It's almost like you need to see it from the other side to see where that blue is on the ice and that back heel of his skate.
And it's been a game of inches all night for Ottawa with the chances they've had, and it comes down maybe to this decision. Offside or not.
If this is a goal, the roof's going to come off this place. For the second time, they're going to celebrate this goal. You can see Martinook there. It's hard to tell from that depth perception where his heel is and where Stahl is with the puck. But there's no doubt this is extremely close.
Now the referees are going on the headset, and I wonder if that is because they've determined offside and now have to determine the time to put back on the clock, and then it will still be a penalty and a power play.
Well, if it's offside, what a break for the Ottawa Senators. I mean, they're going to have to kill a penalty because I don't know. Does the penalty even count after that? Oh, no, yeah, it would, because the penalty was on Martin. Yeah, correct. Getting punchy, but no, that's it. They still have to kill a penalty if it falls in their favor.
All right, here's Furman South.
After the review is determined that the play was offside, there is no goal. However, Carolina number 48 is assessed a penalty shot for being fouled from behind on a breakaway.
Well, it's a penalty shot. So the penalty being called is a penalty shot.
I did not see them signal a penalty shot.
Well, I looked at the delay, and then the goal was scored on the delayed call. So you wouldn't have seen them make a decision.
Yeah.
Right? Because the play continued and went to the goal. So he never had a chance to signal what the call would have been.
Especially when they didn't call the penalty shot on the earlier one for Ottawa.
Wow.
What a set of events as people, Knucklehead is throwing stuff on the ice.
Threw something on the ice, and now they're going to have to clear that for the penalty shot.
Into the hands there, and he doesn't get a shot on net. So again, yes, that could be a penalty shot, and it is, and I don't have a problem with that, but I certainly think the other one should have been one as well. And so they get a break on the offside, but now Ullmark is going to have to go mano-a-mano against Martinook. Wow. The time that goes on the clock to me is irrelevant. It doesn't matter because we're in overtime. I mean, next goal wins, right? And unfortunately, they'll have to clean the ice because Martinook's going to have to skate right through the mess that was laid out there.
They'll have to scrape that out.
I don't disagree that the stick into the hands took away Martinook's opportunity. I don't disagree with that at all. It just took me back a little bit when you're all saying, okay, well, it's offside, but now there's a penalty shot.
There's a penalty shot, yeah.
For Travis Green, he's fist pumping, and Rod Brindamore is all upset. And now the game is on the stick of Martinook, who does such a wonderful job on that line with Stahl, and just really plays hard all the time. And this would be a big one for him.
So a penalty shot in Game 2 in overtime for Jordan Martinook for the Carolina Hurricanes up against Linus Ullmark. Crowd on its feet. Some had left. They thought the game was over. And now the penalty shot to see if it is or if we continue. Here comes Martinook into the slot. Great save, Ullmark. Overtime continues.
The argument goes like, and I've heard this argument many a times. If you had your druthers, would you take the penalty shot or the 2-minute penalty? What would you rather do? Kill 2 minutes or have your goaltender make a save? And the way Ullmark's playing in this game, I think you might go with the penalty shot. And now you come back onto the ice here, and we'll have some 5-on-5 action right away. Face-off outside, and we get to redo this all over again. What a set of events here in Carolina.
Nothing beats the drama of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it's always ramped up even more in overtime. Here's Sanderson to center. Dylan Cousins trying to play. Sanderson's got to go back after it. Jordan Stahl trying to track him down. Montepallo trying to play it back in the net. It got jammed up. Stahl in front with a chance. Can't get it to the goal. Sanderson up the boards, and it's lifted up by Ridley Gray. Claude Giroux trying to send it across for Dylan Cousins. Back the other way come the Hurricanes. Trying to drive the net is Nikolai Ehlers forced wide. Throws it to the line off the stick of Miller, and he's got it back out with it. Miller over to Walker. Dumps it back in. Got away from Ullmark. Montepallo will play it around to Sanderson. Chipped up on the wing for Claude Giroux. And Giroux will lift it in the air and out. Slavin back on it. Hands it off for Chatfield. Lays it up for Jarvis. Hands it off down the wing to Zaho. Snaps it towards the net. It's off the outside of the goal. It's Tkachuk is there. Bumped along the boards, but he'll knock it free for Sanderson. Sanderson up the wing. Tim Stützle trying to catch up to it at center. Tkachuk for Stützle. Knocks it down. Stützle hit the brakes. Couldn't make a play with Chatfield back. Svechnikov the other way. Offside against Carolina. No doubt about that one.
Brindamore's not happy about this. Svechnikov wasn't either. They don't believe this was offside. But what an opportunity again for Stützle. And again, he can't keep the puck on his stick. He makes a great little right-left cut. Loses his balance a little bit. Tkachuk can't reach this one on the wall. And I think this is offside. I think Aho's in ahead of him by a step, and I think it's the right call. But it's so sensitive right now. You can imagine how sensitive right now Rod Brindamore is and his players.
Chabot along the boards, tangled up. Pinto takes it. Here comes Pinto. Up ahead for Chabot. A little too far. Blake lost his helmet, had to put it back on. Now tries to join the play with Chabot there at center ice. Blake had his helmet strapped down up. Lost it. Amadio wants to get it in. And now it is in the Hurricane zone. Taylor Hall bats it to center. Picked up by Spence. Tipped back in by Pinto. Warren Fogle comes up with it. Here comes Fogle. Fogle, fan on the shot. Amadio chops at it. Taylor Hall goes to lift it out, and he will get it down the ice. Mountain Palo will hand it back in his own zone. Gilbert from Mountain Palo out to center, tipped in by Stutzla. Walker on it, chased by Batherson. Batherson all over Walker in the final minute here of the first overtime. Tim Stutzla will work it free. Mountain Palo onto the wing. Kachuk is bumped as he got it in deep. Nikishin around the boards. Stutzla going after it. Martinuk tried to play it. Martinuk in a battle with Tim Stutzla. Batherson looks to dig it out. Stahl has got it. He'll flip it across for Ehlers. Nikolai Ehlers from center dumps it in. It's gloved by Omark, and he hands it off for Sanderson. Sanderson up the middle. Off the stick of Giroux. Stopped at the Carolina line by Walker. And then Sanderson runs into Svechnikov. Aho after into the corner. Spence around the boards will play it for Dylan Cousins. He'll get it out to center. Too far for Claude Giroux. Giroux racing after it. Icing waved off. Giroux taken into the corner by Walker. Miller trying to play it. Ridley Gregg wanted to get a stick on it. He would have had Dylan Cousins in front. Jarvis at the line falls. And this game will go to a second overtime.
What a great job by Giroux negating that icing. There was still 10 seconds on the clock. Mark Jankowski had a career moment, an overtime goal to win game 2, and an off.
Brother Brady, who will be walking this one off. Let's see what this wild one has in store, guys.
Oh, he's had opportunity, that's for sure.
There's Slavin on it at center. He'll go to backhand it in, and it's knocked over by Sanderson. Tim Stutzla, long pass at center for Kachuk. He'll deflect it in. Anderson out of the net. Puts it around the glass. Stutzla trying to jam it up on the board. Svechnikov for Aho. Sebastian Aho to Svechnikov. Shot, and that one sails over the net. Aho will pick it up. Back for Svechnikov. Checked by Mountain Palo. Stutzla turning in front of his own net to get away from Aho. Tim Stutzla will turn back and let the Senators get a change. Pass up ahead for Spence. He'll backhand it in. Anderson out of the net. He'll move it for Miller. Back for Slavin. And now it is Ehlers. That'll find his way to center. Nikolai Ehlers down the wing. Put the shot off the leg of Spence. Shabbat up the boards. Off the stick of Gray. Kept in by Carolina. Trying to snap that one towards the net was Walker, and Spence will come up with it. He'll lift it high in the air, knocked down by Miller. Miller's shot, kicked out by Omar. Ehlers, pass across, all good stick by Dylan Cousins to disrupt that pass as Ridley Gregg will backhand it in. Miller has got it. Watched by Pinto. There's some empty seats here in the building here in overtime. I think some fans left thinking the Hurricanes had won the game, and now an icing call against Carolina.
Imagine you go home, you're celebrating and everything. You get up in the morning and it doesn't work out so much.
Why is the game still on?
What a great defensive play by Cousins. This one's going right through the seam, and he gets down with his stick and right there. And that little movement of the puck disrupted it going through, or it was a one-timer coming to the net. Good job getting alert and getting the stick on it.
Pinto won the draw cleanly. Sanderson has got it. Hands it across. Spence with a drive. It's wide off the back of the goal. Walker works it up the board. Sanderson jumps after Taylor Hall. Pinto trying to get to it. Miller will reverse it around for Blake. He'll hustle after it at center. Knocks it back, and it's carried in by Stankoven with a shot blocked by Sanderson. Amadio up with it. Get it out, and Stankoven will lift it right back in. We're going to have a lot of short shifts here in this second overtime period.
Much easier change for both teams, right? The first overtime period, you had the longer change.
Last one off the stick of Nick Cousins. Lars Eller has got it. Eller over to Spence. Lays it up ahead. Zetterlund deflects it in. It skips to Anderson, and he's forced to hold on with Lars Eller going to the net.
It's a great job by the studio explaining everything, and Elliot did a wonderful job with that. I mean, you and I, we both thought Stahl had possession of the puck. We thought it had to be Martinuk's skate coming over the line, but it ends up that wasn't enough control for Stahl. And if you look at it from that standpoint, yes, he would have been offside, but I'm sure they don't feel the same way.
And then we were expecting a penalty kill that turned into the penalty shot. What a sequence of events.
Can't write this stuff.
Puck comes back at the line. Thompson trying to play it. Goes off the leg of Robinson. Robinson stays all over Thompson. Robinson trying to dislodge it. He'll get it into the corner. Carrier with it back of the net for Robinson. Robinson in front for Aho. Aho around the goal on his backhand. Trying to put it in front. Carrier jamming at it. Aho with a chance. Knocked wide. Kachuk off the boards for Stützle. He'll go back to Kachuk. Who'll send it around for Shabbat. And Shabbat will lift it out to center. Tim Stützle settles it down. Stützle checks up. Has a look around. Stützle hands it off. Sanderson shot. That got knocked away and it floats back to the net. Into the corner. Backerson trying to play it. It's Kachuk that comes up with it. Brady Kachuk throws it in front. Takes the hit, but the puck comes all the way out of the zone.
Well, Slavin lost his stick, and that allowed Brady to get a bit of a step on him from behind the net. Slavin does a good job, though, being physical on Kachuk as he takes him down.
Claude Giroux backhands it in. Anderson around the boards, cut off by Ridley Gregg. Gregg trying to get it to the net, and Anderson will put a glove on it.
Well, you're trying to take any advantage. If someone's stick breaks, someone loses their stick. You see Slavin as he's trying. You see him put his skate down as he thought Brady was going to throw it out on the short side. Just really smart player. And then he knows the only thing I can do, I can't get my stick on the puck, so I need to play him really physical, make sure I take him out of the play. And Kachuk tried to center it into the front of the net. There was nobody there to receive it. I mean, the last thing you want to do is try to make something out of nothing. That's when you get into trouble in overtime because everyone's getting a bit tired. It's the obvious plays you have to make, the sure plays.
The draw along the boards. Shabbat at the line, hands it off. Pinto towards the front of the net. Fogle was there, couldn't get his stick on it. Fogle to Amadio. Amadio breaks free. Amadio will dump it off, try to get it back to Fogle, but Gostisbehere got in the way. He'll send a high backhand to center, and it rolls into the Ottawa zone as Shabbat is on it. Hands it off for Spence. Spence trying to clear it out, knocked down with a stick of Carrier. Pinto will get it out. Here comes Shabbat. Shabbat throws it in deep. Keeshan off the boards and out and down the ice. And it'll be an icing call against Carolina.
Well, we know both these teams are high-volume shot teams, and they like to put pucks to the net, try to get bodies at the net, and they'll continue to try to do that in overtime. As the overtimes extend themselves, everything gets a little bit tougher, right? Your oxygen levels run out a little quicker. You try to keep your shift shorter. And it's the little things you got to continue to do right.
Jankowski won the draw, back for Gostisbehere. He'll hand it off onto the wing to Keeshan, out to center. Jankowski tried to backhand it in, didn't work. Robinson will. Thompson up the board, stealing Cousins. Tries to deflect it by Stahl, and now Ridley Gregg will play it in deep. Walker leaves it behind his net for Miller. Now carried up ice. Walker hands it off. Stahl tipped it for Ehlers. Ehlers dodged the check. Tried to play it in front for Martin. Turned up ice by Kachuk. Pass ahead for Stützle. Checks up. Trying to get it to the front of the goal. And it's taken back by Carolina. Walker up to Stahl. Stahl in on his own. Waiting for some extra help. Dumped it down to Martin. Martin tied up by Thompson. Kachuk is on it, and Kachuk will play it across. Here comes Shabbat. He's got a little room. Tried the shot, then it deflected front. Stützle couldn't get his stick on it. And now it's cleared back down the ice. Hustling after it, Jarvis taking it into the boards. Not a good job by Spence to angle him off. Smitov trying to get in on the check. Here goes Pinto after it. Pinto around the goal. Rubbed out by Chatfield. Got it to the line. Mountain with it. Paulo down for Fogle. Deflected around near side. And Svechnikov will get it out. Aho will dump it in. Jarvis after it in the corner. Seth Jarvis rolls it free for Aho. He's bumped by Mountain-Paulo. Gostisbehere with it. Little shimmy and a shake. Lost it at the line, but he gets a little help from Hall. Then Hall lost an edge. He'll work it up for Slavin, and Slavin will play it in deep. Sanderson on the puck for Ottawa. He'll give it back behind his own net for Spence. Spence, long pass ahead, trying to connect with Greg. Can't get a stick on it. Icing called against Ottawa.
As the game has moved along since the Batherson goal, Ottawa has done a much better job of making those stretch passes and getting those little deflections into the offensive zone with forecheck happening, right? That's the first one they've kind of missed in a while. They're hitting a lot more than they missed. Earlier on in the game, Carolina was doing a much better job getting up in front of the Ottawa players and not letting those passes by, but you don't want to let guys behind you now in overtime, so I think they'd rather go back and get it than leave someone behind them and possibly open.
Greg and Stankoven for the draw. Puck comes onto the board. Sanderson trying to chop it up ahead for Dylan Cousins. Senators get it out. Blake goes back after it. Ottawa on a change. Walker carries it in. Drops it off. Stankoven shot. Glove save made by Allmark.
Right-hand shot coming down on his offside. You go to the other side, you just think of Mark Messier, right? He had that great kick, leg kick when he fired it, and he's looking far side the whole time. As he leans down towards the short side, Allmark is coming over now, and then it goes right through the legs of Gilbert. What a great look right there of it going through the legs of Gilbert, trying to use him as a screen, go far side on Allmark, and Allmark was ready for it and just snagged it out of the air.
Well, Giroux lines up against Mark Jankowski. Giroux won it. Shabbat lays it in front of his own net. Pinto's there on the far side to get it. And he'll clear it out as Amadio tipped it out of the air. Now it comes back for Pinto. Shane Pinto across on the wing. Nick Cousins tried to push it to the goal for Gentleman. Didn't work. Robinson off the boards trying to go back the other way. And everybody back for Ottawa as Martin Paulo's on the puck. He'll hand it off for Shabbat. Shabbat falls, but Martin Paulo was there to take it.
Got a bad skate.
He'll check his edge. Here comes Zetterlund with it. Snapped on net. Gloved by Anderson. He'll throw it across for Chatfield. Martin will come with it. Long pass broken up by the stick of Standerson. Cousins got it in. Martin cleared it out. Race for it here. Tim Stutzla after it. Had Stahl all over him. Stutzla dancing his way up to center. Tim Stutzla to Drake Patterson. Cross-ice pass. Kachuk is on it in the corner. Off the pad of Anderson. Trying to fool the netminder there. Kachuk again. Trying to win the battle for it. He's got it. Rolled it around his fence. Thrown towards the net. Off the pad of Anderson. Centered in front. Nobody home in an Ottawa sweater. Martin will get it to center. Float it in and go for the change. Sanderson carries it up. Connects with Warren Fogle. He'll backhand it in. DeAndre Miller works it around the boards. Jarvis is there. Seth Jarvis out for Aho. Back to Jarvis. Jarvis down the wing. Watched by Shabbat. Shabbat trying to knock it away. Amadio behind the net. Had it poked off his stick, but Martin Paulo was there to come up with it. He'll bank it off the boards and out. Aho trying to bring it in. Jarvis gets a piece of it. Can't get a shot. Vogel hands it off. And Amadio will gain the red line and lift it in.
Again, there's good patience by Amadio. He doesn't panic and just bat the puck away. He waits a second. He gets a bit of space. Now he gets the red line. 200 feet from his net. Everyone gets a line change.
Walker waiting with it. Walker hands it off onto the wing. Taylor Hall will start back out. Here comes Hall. Hall cuts the middle. Shot kicked out by Allmark. Puck comes the line. Slavin throws it on goal, and Allmark will come out of the net to grab it.
Well, the speed and shiftiness of Taylor Hall, you got Gilbert turned around a little bit. Once you make your pivot and you open up, okay, that's where you're going to get into a bit of trouble. If he just keeps him on the outside on his backhand, just leave him on his backhand, but a little bit of panic, and as he cuts over, that's exactly what Taylor Hall wants to see. As soon as he opens that stick up, Taylor Hall cuts inside. Now he's in on his forehand, and he tries to go on the far side, and Allmark with a great toe save there.
Jankowski and Giroux for the face-off. Giroux won it. Apollo tangled up with Carrier. Apollo trying to knock it free. Robinson in to help out. Carrier's got it jammed up there. Now it comes loose in front. Great shot and a big block. Walker Stopped by Pinto. Walker gets it down low. Robinson trying to set her owner. Nice defensive play by Montepallo there. Still in the corner. Sanderson trying to get to it. They cut in front of the net. Swiped away. Puck dropped back. Carrier shot blocked by Pinto. Miller puts it to the net. It's off of Allmark. Giroux will put it off the glass. They don't get it out though on the first attempt. Robinson will bat it in deep. Montepallo takes the big hit from Carrier, but he got it up the boards and down the ice. Icing waved off. Good job by Montepallo.
Well, that's the definition of taking a hit to make a play. You know you're going to get hit hard, and you get it out of the zone, which was much needed.
Spence for Shabbat. He'll lift it in. Slavin waiting for it. It bounces around. Zetterlund can't get a stick on it. And it's shot into the Carolina bench and out of play. That'll get a face-off in the Hurricane zone.
Well, Montepallo makes a great slide on the side to the left side of Allmark as we go to the 10-minute break here in the second overtime. And then as he's going to the corner, believe me, he knows that someone is coming. You don't get that much time, and he gets good wood on it, but he takes a pretty good hit. And he's feeling as he gets to the bench, not only are you out of gas and out of oxygen, but you feel like crap too because you just took a hard hit. But good on him. As these two teams are midway through this second overtime period, we'll have a look at a couple of chances. Right here, Walker drops this one to Stankoven. He goes far side. Nice glove save there by Allmark. And then you look at this pass coming up right here. As he cuts in, he's going to get Gilbert turning. Once he gets up turning, he just cuts into the middle, and that is a grade A quality scoring chance. So the Hurricanes in overtime, too, have had the better looks, that's for sure. And if you're just tuning in, just getting home, you've missed an awful lot. Too much to catch up on, really. But it's been an exciting game. And as we look at the ice times of some of these players that are creeping in over 40 minutes, that is a lot of ice time, and knowing that he played 27 plus in game one.
Crowd still has some energy here as the players catch their breath. Sanderson, over those 41 minutes, now the fourth most time in Senators playoff history. Be the hero tonight in game two. He's about 3 minutes off the record set by Zdeno Chara back in 2002 in Toronto. Chara was at 44 minutes 19 seconds.
I think he's got a really good chance. I'll take the over on that.
Sends when the draw. Spins up with it. Shoots. Oh, it's tipped in front. It goes wide. Matherson after it. Tangled up with Chatfield. Matherson spinning in the corner with it. He'll go back to the point. Sanderson trying to get it down in front, blocked by Slavin. Slavin will hit the red line and backhand it in. Sanderson turns away from Martinook. Sanderson lifts it up ahead. It got away from Tkachuk, and that'll be blown down and brought back.
9:23 to go here in the second overtime period. They're trying to gut through this one, and again, a monumental goal, that next goal. For the Carolina Hurricanes, they would take a stranglehold early on in this series. And for Ottawa, heading back home, stealing a game on the road in a very tough building to win it.
Spence tangled up by Svechnikov, but he got the puck for Sanderson. Off the boards, knocked down by Carrier. Carrier to the net, kicked out by Allmark. Sanderson, up the wing, Tkachuk, deflects it out. Miller, quick pass ahead for Aho. Dropped it off for Svechnikov. Now it's Stützle. And work it free. Fogle trying to battle his way down the wing. Warren Fogle in the corner, tangled up. Walker will take it. Walker can't clear the zone. Pressured again. This time he'll get it off the glass and out. Montepallo at center. Up ahead for Pinto. Paulo. Force it back for Warren Fogle. Now Fogle's got it. Spins down low. Amadio in front. Oh, it's off the post. Amadio thought he had the winner. Hit the post. Pinto with it. Pinto breaks free. Pinto Over to Shabbat. Shabbat has got it. Back to the line. Here's Spence to Shabbat. Waiting to Pinto. Shooting. Deflected over the glass in the netting and out of play. A second post here in overtime for Ottawa.
All alone, Amadio and Anderson. What a nice little pass in tight there, and off the post it goes, and incoming into the pile was Pinto. Watch Svechnikov. He doesn't stop. He keeps going. Walker keeps going, and Pinto almost comes in and buries this. Unfortunate. It might have got a bit of an Anderson there, off him and off the post, but what an opportunity.
Lars Eller will take the draw against Jankowski. Eller won it. Back to Spence. Spence dumps it down behind the net. It's forced to the corner. Zetterlund for Lars Eller. Eller tried to play it in front. Broke it up and cleared around the boards, but it took a weird hop. Doesn't get out. Ottawa kept it in. Now it's cleared as Zetterlund got a piece of it. Carrier will settle it down at center. Carrier bumped by Sanderson. Zetterlund up around the wing. Nikishin trying to hold it in. Carrier checked. Lars Eller trying to dig it loose. Eller does. He'll feed it around to Sanderson. Sanderson up ahead to Nick Cousins. He's got some time to center. Hands it off. Here comes Eller with a chance. Shot it over the net. Trying to bat it back in front. Nick Cousins on it in the corner. Back to the line for Gilbert. Gilbert back down low. Got away from Gostisbehere. Eller spins. Can't make a pass in front. Nikishin up to Robinson. Off his foot. And he'll work it up ahead. It's brought in by Stamkos with a shot deflected away. Shabbat will lift it to the line. Not out. Hall to Blake. Waiting. Blake in front. Loose puck. And back to get it is Dylan Cousins. And he'll clear the zone for Ottawa. Chatfield goes after it. Ridley Craig on it first. Blake comes in to try and take it away. Dylan Cousins looking for it. Stamkos there as well. It's free at the line. Here comes Sanderson. Working his way in. Backhand towards the net is wide. Dylan Cousins after it along the boards. Blake has got it. Cleared it out. Taylor Hall trying to catch up to it. Montello's back. Hall shooting. Kick save made by Allmark. Sanderson off the boards. Out to center. Ottawa's got it again. And Kachuk will play it in. Miller turns it up ice. Here's Stahl trying to drop for Martinook. Kachuk got in the way. Lost his stick. Miller at the point. Hands it off. Martinook. Pass across. Waiting. Holding. His healers. He'll spin around. Back to Miller shooting. Allmark the save through traffic. Martinook to the point. Miller has got it. Miller hands it off. Healers in front. Martinook scores! Jordan Martinook makes up for the penalty shot and now wins game 2 in double overtime.
What a fantastic game with incredible goaltending. These two teams battled so hard through this game in a crazy set of circumstances in the second overtime. In the first overtime. And, I mean, Martinook looked like he was going to be the hero. He gets felled on the breakaway. All of a sudden, it's offside. The penalty shot happens. Here's the penalty shot. Martinook comes in, and a glove save by Allmark, who was absolutely brilliant in this game. And here's Martinook on the ice, back to the point. He loses himself out in the high slot, and there he gets it back, and it's up top, glove side. What a shot. It was a real beauty goal. Catch and release into the net. And the Carolina Hurricanes have taken a 2-0 lead in this series. Heading back to Ottawa. There'll be a 2-day break and a lot to unpack for Ottawa as they head home. And the emotions that run up and down and up and down, just crazy, and a big win for Carolina.
Redemption for Martinook. The Hurricanes hold serve at home as we head to Ottawa. Now let's take it to Edmonton.